Welcome to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I'll be covering every studio song the band has recorded and every bonus track that I can find. Each week we'll go over a new song from the beginning to where they are currently, and as they keep adding albums, I'll keep adding shows. Let the deep dive party begin.
In the magic garden, some were singing, some were dancing.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I am your host, Scott Haskin, bringing you this fan-based, band-endorsed podcast, and I'm really excited digging into season 31, Totally Driven. These are re-recorded studio versions by the band with the lineup at this time, which, to give you a quick recap, we have Bernie Shaw, Lee Kerslake, Trevor Boulder, Phil Lanzon, and Mick Box. Of course, Mick Box. Mick Box has been on everything. But I found something interesting. So I was a little perplexed on why my sort wasn't working properly. So I got this, I downloaded this one from Amazon. And it's a 2-disc set. And the way that Amazon broke it up was into, two separate sections of tracks, labeled one through, whatever each disc would be. But what was weird was that the second disc is showing up first and the first disc is showing up second. And I realized the reason why is because whoever encoded it, and I don't know, now this wasn't available on iTunes. It was only available on Amazon. So I don't know where else you might find it. But what was really weird was whoever encoded it did the first disc is, say, Gypsy would be 01 space dash space Gypsy, 02 space dash space Traveler in Time. But the way they did the second disc was they put in parentheses disc 2 and then 01 space dash space Between Worlds, 02 space. So it starts with the disc instead of, they didn't put disc 1 in, they only put that in for disc 2. So when you sort it alphabetically, disc 2 shows up before the album that shows no disc number. So I might go in and just recode all those really quick so that they all line up and are where they're supposed to be. But if you're wondering why CD2 is listed first, if you purchase this on Amazon or maybe some other places to download that I didn't see, that might be why. I don't know how it is if you have the actual CD and you burn it off the CD. I don't know how the track list will show, but that's just something to be aware of. Very interesting. There always has to be something different here and there every single time. So today we are talking about the song Bird of Prey. This was originally covered on season 1, episode 11, Very Heavy, Very Humble. And let's see, that aired December 3rd of 2020. So like 2.5 years ago almost. God, it's been a long time that I've been working on the show. Let's get into the song. We know who the players are. We know the song. Let's check out this version of it. I had theorized that there might not be any overdubs on this, but I might have to take that back because it sounds to me like I'm hearing two distinct guitar tracks that are playing, very staccato for the opening. It could be an effect, I suppose, could be like a doubler or something being used, or it copied onto another track and shifted a little bit. Very possible, but I don't know. I just have a feeling it's an actual live track. It's pretty tight, though. Band is very solid here. Really love the Hammond sound also that we're hearing. And bass and drums sound great, nice and tight. Love just those little, punch accents that we're hearing. But I like that the guitar is louder, and maybe that second track is part of the reason why. But I feel like this has a better balance from guitar and organ. So we'll see how it goes through the rest of the song. Well, this is certainly a different feel than I'm used to. If you guys recall, there were two versions of the original song, the American and the British version, which were basically mostly just a completely different vocal take, completely different style. It was cool to have both those. Now we have a third version that sounds completely different. And I love the backing vocals. They sound so good here. Wow, Bernie sounds absolutely fantastic. Just amazing power in that range. I would have to say that no matter how good of a vocalist you are, I would have to think that this song would be a good workout, especially this version. Not sure I like that sort of brass synth accent that we're hearing. Maybe every other time would be cool, but every line is a little bit much for me. But the rhythm of it, it's got good motion. It's a really good tempo for the song. Really cool. I like this. Well, that was pretty tight. I actually expected to hear a little bit of double bass through that. For some reason, that popped into my head that was a choice that we might make. We'll see if he does it throughout the rest of the song. We've got a ways to go. It's 3 minutes and 43 seconds. We're only a minute and a half in, so plenty of territory to cover. I'm really liking the sounds that we're hearing Phil playing in the background, the nice layers on the keyboard. Really cool. Again, that accent is just a bit overkill for me. But out of curiosity, I thought, this being what I would perceive to be a very challenging song for pretty much any vocalist, not that it's an impossible song by any means. It's not like Mariah Carey notes, but certainly a challenge, to hit those pitches with that power so consistently. So I was curious about the band's live history with this song, and they played it as recently, according to setlist.fm, which we know, much like Wikipedia, is the be-all, end-all of actual facts, right? But they're pretty comprehensive. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one and say that Uriah Heep has played Bird of Prey 301 times, as most recently as September 18th, 2022. So even just a few months ago, they were doing this song live, which is pretty cool because it's always been one that I've loved. And I like that it means something to them enough to put it in the set when they have, 25 albums, or at the time, 24 albums worth of choices to make of, what to play and what not to play. But considering this was being played for the 50th/52nd anniversary of the band, must hold some weight for them too. Just realizing how fast the tempo of this song actually is, it definitely, again, feels very much like a live version. But man, listen to Trevor's fingers on that bass. If he's not playing with a pick, that's a good finger exercise, this song. just realizing that this is another, pretty epic rock song, once again, with no solo in it. It's amazing too, if you think about the talent in Uriah Heep and how many of them had the ability to pull off a great solo or even just a few bars, even on a bass guitar. And yet, Easy Livin' had no solo. This song has no real solo. So I do find that interesting, but I'm loving the energy of this. I'm loving the big sound of this. I like the 16ths on the hi-hat. It's very different, but it definitely adds to that tempo push feeling. But overall, I love this really immense cinematic sound that the song has all of a sudden. That was a nice, unexpected change. I really like that. Bernie was sounding kind of, in the background, a little more ethereal for a second there. And I just kind of thought the song was going to continue on, along that way until it ended. I'm expecting there won't be a lot of fades on this album, if any, but I really wasn't sure where it was going. I just thought this was, okay, now we're in this section, and this is the section that will go to the end of the song. So I like bringing it back. But also, just those effects on Bernie's voice, the delay, the extra reverb to make it sound further away was nice. But man, that transition back into this section now, really cool.
Now every time I try to set her free, I'm glad to say she comes right back to me.
I don't know if you guys could hear it depending on what audio device or earphones or headphones or car speakers or whatever you're listening on, but there was a really cool bass fill, and then that joined in a drum fill that came in a little bit later. That was really nice stuff. I'm digging the way this sounds, I have to say. It's really shows what the current band or the band at this time was like, and I'm liking the sound. Certainly would have been very exciting to see any of these songs so far performed on stage. Well, I don't really know if you could consider that a fade out, because bands would do stuff like that on stage and just, all of a sudden stop and get ready for the next song. Whether they go right into it, they're blending it into another song, or what would remain to be seen. But I love that Mick found a way to work a guitar solo into Bird of Prey, because I don't recall ever hearing one before. And I don't think I've ever heard a live version of the song. So this is really unique to my ears. I don't know about you guys. Those of you who have seen them on tour may have heard one of the live versions of it, very possible. But for me, I haven't. So this was a really nice treat, and a great solo, by the way. I wouldn't have thought of working in something like that into this song, but very, very well done. Cool version, I have to say. Really unexpected, very energetic, faster, definitely more to the modern sound that the band has than they did back in the 70s. I really dig it. Very good job. So that will do it for today's episode, guys. A little bit shorter, about 15 minutes. We'll be back tomorrow for the Friday show. See you then, guys. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. If you have enjoyed this show, please consider going over to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast outlet, leaving a rating or a review. Be sure to subscribe to make sure that you are notified when new episodes are available. Please be sure to share this podcast with your fellow Uriah Heep enthusiasts and anyone who you think would like Uriah Heep, which should be everyone. And if you are so inclined, please feel free to contribute to the Patreon account. And if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you can also pay through the PayPal link on the website listed in the show links below. I would also like to thank Uriah Heep for their very generous support of the show, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Happy days!